Hey there, it's Richard van Ommen here again from the Katana Group, Europe's leading systemization experts for UK property investments. Thank you very much for taking part. This is video 2 of 3, and in this video series, or in this video of the series, we're going to be breaking down a little bit about some of the biggest challenges for property investors, which you might find that you're going to be facing yourself. Well, I can almost certainly guarantee if you are currently investing, you'll be facing yourself. If you're not yet investing and you're sort of dipping your toe into the water, then I can guarantee you'll be facing these challenges at some point very soon. So interestingly enough, the very first challenge that comes up for property investors is actually just being able to find enough property deals. They say there's one of two big challenges for property investors. So either you don't have enough deals or you don't have enough money. Or, if you're really unlucky, you can have not enough both, in which case you're out of luck. But of course, this is why we're here, to be able to help you get over those. Not enough deals is a pretty big one that we find for property investors. Now, realistically, if you have enough deals, if you do something that we call deal sourcing, so this is where you find a deal, you negotiate it with an owner or an estate agent, and then you find a buyer, somebody who would like to buy the deal, and then you put the two together, then essentially what you've done is you've sourced a deal. So you will then sell the buyer the deal, and you will make money in the middle. So anywhere between, say, £3,000 or even up to £9,000, depending on how you structure it and how you do it, and what kind of services you bolt on top to the side as well. Now, this is a great way to be able to make money without actually taking any financial risk. So we run 2-hour live events and also on our 3-day trainings. We'll be talking much more in depth about this. Of course, I can't give you all the information in a very short video, as much as I wish I could give you everything. But yeah, please feel free to come along to one of our free events, and there'll be a link down below at some point on one of the video series being able to guide you to one of those. So feel free to do that, or book in a call with me and we'll get it sorted. So then you can, of course, then source the deal, and then you can make money nice and easy. So being able to generate an income through property is actually not that challenging, especially being as you don't have a lot of overheads to consider. And you can literally find deals with zero risk. It's, you can make money for zero risk. And for me, that's extremely powerful. So that's number one. So that's being able to find enough deals. Number two, the second biggest challenge that most property investors face is being able to raise enough finance. Now, irrespective of how much finance you start your property journey with, at some point you're going to run out. I know people that have started with in excess of £1 million and then have run out within a very short space of time, just because you end up investing heavily into your deals. The more capital you have allows you to do more deals at once, but at some point you're going to run out of funds. Now, whether you then raise finance elsewhere, whether you speak to investors and you offer them an opportunity to be able to invest in you, understand and listen to the language pattern there. If you think of investors, rather, if ever you've tried to raise finance, then you might have felt like you were begging for money, which is actually wholly inaccurate, because as we've already established on the last video of the series, you don't get a very good interest rate in the bank. As a matter of fact, you get 0 point, pretty much not even worth mentioning. With that being said, if you were to then say to an investor, look, I can then offer you anywhere between 6 or even up to 12%, depending on how you want to structure it. I can offer you between 6 and 12%. What kind of, would you be happy with that level of return? Now, realistically, for an inexperienced investor, that's actually a very good return. So very exciting opportunity there is to be able to offer them something they wouldn't be able to get elsewhere. Now, if you consider the language change, so instead of you asking for something, you are offering something, it makes it much easier for you to be able to go through that process. Again, on our training, we'll be going through that much more in depth as to exactly how you can get this done. Biggest challenge number 3 that we tend to come across for all or most property investors for sure is going to be all about time. Now, you may or may not be in a position where you have enough time to be able to really commit and put time into this property journey. And unfortunately, we all have the same amount of time of the day, but if you need to be able to pay the bills, and the only way or only means you have earning an income for now is through a job, then what you might find is your time stretched. Particularly if you live in the south of England and you'd like to be investing in the north, where you tend to get much better returns. So time is a very big challenge. Now, fascinatingly enough, our mentorship students get access to what we call our automation team. So this is a team that will physically do everything for you. Now, I hope you're making some notes throughout this video. So here is the sequence of property steps that you need to be taking part in. Irrespective of who you are as a property investor, this is the sequence of steps you need to be doing. And our team can physically take care of all of it for you. So number 1, is going to be you need to be able to find the properties you want to be looking at. So, finding and selecting out of all the properties available, which ones you want to look at because they're likely to be a deal. Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two is you want to be booking the viewings, because of course you can't view a house unless you book it. Okay, so speak to the estate agent, say, hey, I'd like to come view this house. Now understand there's zero risk in this conversation so far. Okay, absolutely no risk as to where you're at. So there's no reason why you can't be doing this already. So go and view the houses. So number three is view house. Okay, very simply, you have to view the house. And while you're there, the sole purpose of you viewing the house is to see what the refurbishment cost is going to be. Because you're going to be much more likely to find a deal on a house that is in poorer condition as opposed to in very good condition. Okay, so number three, you need to make sure you go out there and confirm the refurbishment cost. Now, if you're not sure how to cost up refurbishment, I completely understand. Very, very few people are. What you should do is download we've got a free app on the Play Store and the App Store. It's called Refurbishment Calculator. You can't miss it. It's got the katana symbol all over it. And you can have that absolutely for free. That is free for life. I have no interest. It's not about your money. You're very quickly going to notice we've achieved a lot of great things in our business. I'm not particularly interested in your money. I'm much more interested in your partnership. Okay, so download this app absolutely for free, and that will assist you on your journey. If you're still not sure, reach out to us, come to one of our trainings. We'll be able to guide you and show you what to do. Okay, so number three is view the property and cost up your refurbishment. Number four is analyze the deal and calculate out your offer price. Okay, now, as I said, in the next video of the series, we're going to be talking to you a little bit more about what a good deal is, but you want to be calculating out what you're prepared to offer on that property based on the information you have. Okay, so that's number four. And then you get on to number five. It's a very, very integral one, and this is the one that most people actually struggle on, is making the offer. Just make your offer. It's actually a very, very simple one. All you got to do is call up the agent and say, hey, I'm interested in this property. I'd like to put forward an offer of X. You make your offer. That's it. Very simple. And understand you are not tied into any deal at this point. At this point, you're in a position where even if the offer is accepted, you're still not tied in. You have no financial risk at gain or at present. What you do have is a little bit of reputational risk, but it's very, very small. Because if it doesn't come through, then it's not a big issue. Now, when you make your offer, off the back of that, then you want to be chasing that up every single month. And I mean every single month without doubt, until either the property is sold or you get your offer accepted. And then once you get your offer accepted, there is another sequence of steps, which is very simply confirm your builder. Get your builder to confirm the refurbishment cost. And then off the back of that, then, I mean, on the training, we've got a 36-step guide. It doesn't make sense for me to go through all of these with you right now, because I'm also conscious of not giving you 3 hours worth of videos. But yeah, so we go through it all in our free training. So come along to our trainings. It's in depth in there. You'll absolutely love it. Okay, so that is essentially your property sequence of what you need to be doing. And that takes us to, that was the third challenge of 5 biggest challenges of property investors, the third one being based on time. Now, the fourth one is very interesting, which is your mindset. Okay, now, if you already had the right mindset, I can pretty much assure you, you wouldn't be watching this video. You'd be extremely financially wealthy, you'd be living exactly where you wanted to be living, and you'd be leading the life you wanted to be leading. But the fact that you aren't is purely down to the fact that your mindset isn't quite where it needs to be able to achieve it. So to give you a quick example of this, think in terms of Donald Trump. Now, I am not his biggest advocate or his biggest fan. I think the guy is a bit of a douchebag, to be honest. But he did do something that I do admire. He had lost all of his wealth. Over a period of time, something had happened. He lost all of his wealth. And I believe it was tens of millions or hundreds of millions. It was an insanely high amount of money if you consider standard life. And it took him only 1 year to be able to earn all that money back, just 1 year. Now, if you think how that was done, it was done purely because he has the right mindset. He has a belief that he is worth that amount of money. And that is why he managed to generate it. Now, realistically, if you look at how much money you've got in the bank, in all likelihood, that is pretty close to what you believe yourself to be worth. And you'll find you'll have a yo-yo where you'll have a certain amount that always seems to sit in the bank. Okay, now whether you're a saver, whether you're a spender, there will always be a certain amount that tends to linger in there. You might have a bulk thing, but you'll always come back. It's the same reason most lottery winners, they will lose all of their money on average. I think it's something like 95% will lose all of their money within 2 years. It's because they have all this money, but then they want to equalize back to their belief of how much they're worth. But what you'll find is they will overshoot, and a lot of them will go bankrupt or into huge debt and then have to work their way back up. So a lot of people, the worst thing in their life that could have happened was actually winning the lottery. Okay, and then last one, number 5, is all based on your community. It's Property can be a very lonely journey if you're not sharing it with someone, especially somebody that you would like to spend time with and talk to. And with that being said, if you're in a very lonely journey, at some point it gets very disheartening and you're not going to want to continue. So I implore you to make sure that you spend time with like-minded people where you can continue to develop and grow that community and support each other to be able to get to greater things. Now, the easiest way to do that is either going to networking events or going to property events. Now, of course, we constantly hosting property events. If you're not sure, just drop us a message. You can always email our customer service at customerservice@katanagroup.co.uk, and then Marie will be able to help you by directing you to the next event, or vice versa. Just drop me a message in the comments, and then we'll be responding as quickly as we possibly can. Make sure that we spend some time together. So that takes us through the 5 biggest challenges of property investors. This is the second video of the 3-video series. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you've had some great value, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you at one of our trainings in the future. We will shortly have video 3 up and running. So video 3 is going to be much more about being able to, like, how you've got to find more deals, how you've got to be able to raise more money, and a little bit about how everything kind of comes together and how it all works together. So thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.